Do you know how scared my mom was when she didn't hear from me? I was watching the moment on CNN, not hearing from me.
I was actually thinking the worst. And then he did the fist pump, and that was like, holy cow.
How could this have happened?
Someone lost a father, someone lost a family member.
Why didn't they secure the building?
We did what we were asked to do that day.
Yeah, that is part of the trailer for a new behind-the-scenes documentary produced by KDKA about the attempted assassination of then presidential candidate Donald Trump.
As you remember, a local firefighter died in the shooting, and in the days following, Butler County and Western PA became the epicenter of investigations, questions, and scrutiny. One of the journalists who covered the story and ended up spending a lot of time at the Butler County Fairgrounds in the days following was Jennifer Borrasso. She joins us now to talk about the special documentary set to air tomorrow night. This to me is just a continuation. I feel like this whole past year we have been asking the questions following what has happened in the days and the months since. But I want to go back to that day. You were not originally assigned to cover the rally, and that's how this all began. It was a rally. You were not set to cover that, but how did you end up there that evening?
So I had just gotten back from a family funeral. A good friend of mine was moving to another state, so I was gonna go to a goodbye party. Was watching the rally when I heard the gunshots.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought the worst. I really thought, wow, the president must be severely hurt. So I talked to our news director, and I was going to meet our chief photographer, Ian Smith, to the scene. And my husband decided the best plan was to drive there and to meet Ian. So actually getting to the site, the rally site, it was jam-packed.
Sure.
It was very just one way in, one way out of the Butler Farms Show. So just getting there was half the battle.
I had to imagine chaotic even to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine the chaos, the commotion. And I think normally we would ask, what do you remember seeing? But more so, what do you remember feeling? What was happening in your mind and in your heart?
So obviously, I mean, this is happening in our backyard. I mean, this just incredible story. This is attempted assassination on the president. I was working the phones with my contacts, my sources, and confirming that actually there were 3 rally goers shot. 1 had been killed. So you're just thinking like, okay, what information can I get? What can I confirm? Because that's our job as reporters, right? I mean, we want to get the information, we want to get the facts. That was coming in slowly. So the biggest thing I was thinking was, let's talk to people who were there. There was a sense of fear.
Sure.
There was a sense of anger and just disbelief. Just how could this have happened? I remember interviewing, I'll never forget this, Ben Macer. He showed up late. He and his family were just watching from outside of the perimeter and actually saw, he says, Thomas Crooks jumping from building to building.
Wow.
And this was the most astounding thing, that you saw the video, right, when people were yelling, hey, there's a man on the building.
Yeah.
There's a man on the building. And there was just this desperate plea of like, oh my gosh, helplessness.
Right.
Like, why can't the cops get to this guy?
And so in the months that followed, you continued to stay on top of this. We know that you are even speaking with the family of the firefighter, the one who had passed away. And that story airs tonight. But you've been staying on top of this and all of those unanswered questions. How has that come about? What has this year been like for you?
So that's the big thing. It's like digging into this story, like what did Thomas Crooks act alone? My sources tell me that at last check, they couldn't break into Thomas Crooks's phone. We still don't know for sure what was his motive. Some things recently came out. In January, he was inquiring about where is this package? You know that he had those explosives, police say, that were found in his vehicle. They weren't used, thank God. But really, there's still a lot of questions. I think those family members, Corey Comparator's sisters, his mother, tonight, our story will reflect that they're bonded by this tragedy with the shooting survivors, David Dutch, Jim Copenhaver. I mean, by most accounts, they should not have survived those life-threatening injuries.
Right. And there was so much work that went into putting this documentary together. What are you hoping people take away from it?
I mean, what we're hoping is that this was the worst security failure since the Ronald Reagan shooting. And I think people want to trust. People went to the rally to support their candidate.
Yeah.
They weren't anticipating anything like this.
Right.
And they want to feel safe. They want to understand, like, how, you know, the Secret Service's job is to protect the asset. That's the president. But they're also there, other law enforcement, to keep people safe.
Right.
Now, granted, they can't determine every
move.
every move.
Yeah.
Right.
But they want to know what happened here. There's still unanswered questions. Some people think, Heather, that there's more to this story.
Yeah.
The FBI, I'm told, recently will be coming out with its report on the attempted assassination.
Right.
We're still waiting to hear from them. What did they find?
Well, I mean, I know that a lot of hard work has gone into this, and I think it's incredible to be able to hear from people who were there that day and what was happening kind of behind the scenes. I think a lot of people are going to be interested to hear what you all had to share from that day. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jen.
Thanks for
thank you,
having
Jen.
me.